we can actually, the scientific, our ability to be aware of ourselves and the world around us from a scientific perspective, it's the brain's way of integrating information so we can think, feel, and make. Consciousness is often beyond, I'm not mystery in the science coach, confidence coach, okay, those things. You think that's what we base our teachings on, because that's what we work with. Our perspective is that everything is energy. Okay, everything in the universe is energy. Nothing is the complexity. Children's brains reach a stage of, had their own perspective. They have a perspective developed by that time, and this enters them into conscious per se, but rather as far full-fledged. Okay, at that spiritual culture. Okay, 7 is a stage. They become a member of consciousness at 7. Okay, so there's that aspect of it. Now there's that aspect of it. Now in an everyday understanding, okay, a child doesn't around 7. They're ending them even now by the time. So we're going to talk about me to think in real time with my ADHD experiencing. So you want to make them feel safe. You don't want to scare them. You don't. Absorbing that, and there's no expansion. Swiss psychologists and developmental how they develop over time. The developmental how they develop over time. The development of as a fold. And this is where and interpret things. So add and interpret these things and file them. Interpret things. So add and interpret these things and file them according. So let's say like us, world. Now your roots. Okay. Now, above the paradigm is the fruits of the tree. Your act, nothing that of your paradigm, which of your Piaget will state one's paradigm to result upon how they're reacting. Reprogram the soul, a lot of an affirmation. Okay, not thing happens. Your affirmation. Thing happens. Your affirmation. Okay, in 2 weeks days. That's okay. In 2 weeks days. That's example. You don't. I mean this in real time, so bear with that. All is included. What's the just shut meditation, vocalization, visual in that pain. Meditation, vocalization, visual in that pain. In meditation, you are in your asking some meditation. What does it look like? Shine, and might look like a good day. The majority of what does it look like? Shine, and might look like a good day. The majority of the things that I now, how could that both simultaneously happen? Important. Now, how could that both simultaneously happen? Important. Because center point formed to you. Commit to a decision. Okay, you commit to a decision. Let's say, for example, you're doing a meditation, and let's say that in your meditation, you're visualizing now, all you have to do is be mindful of these things and then commit to it in your subconscious. When you commit to, okay, time how it doesn't, time how it doesn't. We're living one manifestation process, okay? We're living one manifestation process, okay? You do it. Then what happens? Well, then this, it can happen. Okay, so point as a commitment in an idea. Point as a commitment in an idea. Time corresponds to you. Or let's say it another way. Time, you say, okay, conscious provides the explanation, new house. Now, it starts to feed those details to the subconscious mind. I'm grateful now that in the description of your house, okay, write down vivid descriptions. So you're writing out all your descriptions, right? Okay, now you have your affirmation. 66 days start to take place. It will start to take shape. Now, when that happens in the subconscious, it's installed as a conscious will start, it will confirm. It will start to confirm that ideas. Superconscious will start. The superconscious, you should, conscious, subconscious, and conscious mind Every time the GPS want to commit the conscious, subconscious with intuitive thought. The subconscious with intuitive thought. It starts opening doors. It starts opening doors. It starts bringing the right doors. It starts bringing the right people. A new house. And then I was at Starbucks, open house on sentences. Whatever. Is it the work of the superconscious? Well, it depends on what you believe, right? How you believe. How you believe in your subconscious. Okay? I happen to believe in God real to me. There's light if sets light and vice versa. Okay, you know, use mind. Telling the conscious mind what to do concerning the goal. Okay? Your subconscious actually tells your it's your not the when your subconscious in the car and you just drive, right? You turn on the stove, brush your teeth in the morning. Your subconscious is running your conscious mind. Okay, but first you have to put the program in your subconscious. Okay, but first you have to put the program in your subconscious for 10 minutes. In prayer, speak whatever it is that you're trying to get the subconscious to believe. Not only do you write it, not only do you think it, but you speak it. Okay? Because if you can think it, if you can write it, if you can speak it, you can live it. I've done it. It works. Because you accomplish something, you will impart. There's a couple components to that. The first component is you need to see yourself worthy. Okay? You need to see yourself worthy. Because if you don't think you're worthy, you're not going to make any progress. It doesn't matter what it is. You have to see yourself. Vision in the living room thing. Okay? Visualize. Now, some people, so if you go on YouTube, these mind movies. So these have a YouTube, very useful read. I'm here to tell you, it's really, really important in a CEO. You have to have feeling. Okay, so when you take it, manifestation, excited about it, and it will feel. And when you mind, when you're in a bad mood, right, things aren't as good. But then when you're happy again, like things start happening. Good things start happening, right? So you cannot just meditate. Like it's not magic, it's your subconscious. It's already been formed in the world. The house has already been built. If not, the lumber has already go down to a dealership. Whatever it is you desire is as a belief. And this is why when you get an idea and you start proceeding to the idea, you meet the right people, right? People that are relative to your idea. You start them. There you go. The how is not your job. Don't know if you're not feeling at least a couple. So go down feeling, right? You go, oh man, like, you know, this didn't work. What is called pivoting. Maybe promotions people here and check. You know, what are you going to lose? You're already losing money. As an entrepreneur, you're already losing money. So you need to pivot before that. You need to, if this gets stuck, okay, we're going here. We're going to change course. And that's called pivoting. So you go back and forth. Okay, you hit a wall, and sometimes you're stuck from all direction. The journey is sweeter. The journey is more interesting because you start to see miracles. Okay, what kind of miracles all the time? If you want to work at XYZ company, okay, start writing the affirmation. Visualization, you're reading it out loud every night. I am so happy and grateful now that I work at XYZ company. Thank you. Okay? You're doing your meditation, and in your meditation, you're asking, what's the best way to work for XYZ company? You're asking, okay? And maybe for your visualization, maybe you get and maybe in a couple of days, you go to the gym, and you start talking to this guy at the gym, and you ask this guy, what do you do? Right? You see, how many times has that happened to you? It's probably happened to you a lot in your life. Believing God. That happened. Coincidence. The first, okay, put everything in the bank. You deny yourself. Okay, you live small. Macaroni and cheese, put all the money in the bank. What's the other one? That God is the infinite supply. And when you believe, or when you can wrap your mind around that God is the infinite supply, and that there is only the conscious, subconscious, and superconscious, then why are you worried about things not coming to you? Okay? Jesus, it's a metaphor. Jesus sits at the right hand of the Father, because the right hemisphere of the brain is where you get, this is why the sphere of the brain is logic. So when you get a creative idea, right? I got this idea, I'm going to start my own business. If you let it go too long and you don't take action on it right away, what happens? The left hemisphere, nobody else from our family ever did business. It was this big, logic side of your brain. The left hemisphere starts to rationalize you out of your dream. And pretty soon you go, oh yeah, that was a silly idea. I'm here to tell you, Google, I see all my crazy ideas. So it's not just I see success, I see every half and I go, yeah, I remember when I was trying to do that. You do it and you fail. That's part of success. Okay, I'll say it again. When you act on it and you fail, okay? You act on it, you do it, right? You go on the journey and then you fail. I actually closed one company right before the pandemic, so I can't really say that. I can't really call the Junior Kekuewa Jr. Roadshow. It's on Facebook. I shut that down in 2019. In 2020, because everything was shut down. Everybody was home. But for the other companies, we were moving them online. That business failed. That entertainment business failed. That second, we had two entertainment companies. Junior Live failed. The Facebook page is still there. It's still there. All the stuff we did is still there. Okay, you could take a look at it. But I'm just saying that failure, we saw other people failing. We saw other entertainers out of work. We saw pandemic. Okay, the pandemic brought us new challenges too. We had an office, my main office. It sat in. Okay, I have a couple that are recovering. Foreseen things like the pandemic happen. Okay, you just have to look at what it means to you, and how it affected you, and inspired thought. Uninspired thought, fail your way to success. Okay, you can fail your way to success. I used to work with this guy. And he used to say nothing. I said, no, that's not the expression. He said, no, nothing feels like success. I'm like, what do you mean? He goes, well, people succeed, right? They get carried away. Okay, and what happened? Well, he's gone. Okay, I'm not judging. I'm not pronouncing judgment on him or anything. I'm just saying that happened. Okay, so sometimes, and he was very successful. Okay. So sometimes, right, nothing succeeds like success, and sometimes nothing fails like success. Because it gets to the point of arrogance sometimes. And when that happens, you take things for granted. When you take things for granted, fail. Okay, stuff like that happens. And I'm not here to judge Jimmy Kimmel or anything like that. And I wish him, but things like that happen to us too. And the reason why I'm mentioning these things is that you need to start seeing these things as God doing this for a reason. When you things start to make more sense. Okay? When you trust in that power, whether you call it source, whether you call it God, Jesus Christ, Allah, it's all part of the superconscious. It's that greater energy. And it's that greater energy that will assist you. And that greater energy lives in here. Jesus Christ told you the kingdom is within. Gautama Buddha said the kingdom is within. He said it in a different way. Krishna said it in a different way as well. The kingdom is within. So you have that power in here. Whatever you call it, that's where the power is. That's where your resources are. Okay, the problem is we have eyes, and our eyes are facing away from. It leads us away from where the power is. The power is in here. God lives in here. God doesn't live up there in the sky. You know, it's funny, I had this conversation with this lady who is very religious. She was a stare. I was like, really? It was rather amusing to me. Okay, heaven is here. God lives in here. Okay, so the one thing that we all share is consciousness. Okay, today we're talking about consciousness. Consciousness is the ability of us to be aware of ourselves. Because we are awareness. So if you're talking, and if you're thinking, and if you're feeling, awareness, you are awareness. They just look out like that, that's all they can do. They cannot observe themselves. But we can. And that's the one thing that we all have in common. When you hear this in Holy Scriptures, talking about we are all one, that's what they're talking about. And when you learn to be more observer, okay, than reactor, right, life changes, right? You can be the observer because now you're the observer. The observer allows you to remove yourself from the action, whatever action that is. It could be drama. It could be somebody arguing. It could be whatever it is. All in real time. And you will start to see the outline of you lying on the bed. Try that. It's an awareness exercise. Okay, if you are consciousness, you are awareness, will change the game for you. It'll change the game because then you don't have them, right? The thought, or we react with. So if it's a good thought, right, you have good feelings. If it's a fearful thought or a bad thought, you have bad feelings, you feel bad. Awareness gives you the ability to observe the thought. Here comes the thought, right? Okay, the thought's right here. I'm not going to touch it. I'm just going to observe it. And now the thought is passing. Now the feeling that belonged to the thought can't touch you. It goes by. You're not going to feel it, but it goes by. And that's the ability of being aware. Okay, now what happens with awareness? Let me show you, give you a visual. Awareness, when you have a lot of stress, okay, when a lot of things are bearing down on you, you have a lot of stress, family drama, right? Whatever it is, right? All kinds, there's tons of drama, right? All kinds of drama. But when those things are happening, your awareness is like this. Okay. It kind of goes like this to stay small. When you take stress off, when you relax, okay? When all the stress is gone, awareness starts to do this. Your awareness starts to expand. Okay? Your awareness starts to contract with trauma, with stress, working too hard, working 2 or 3 jobs. Okay? But the sad part is that, you know, the conditions of the economy, all like that, right? We work hard or we work long, one of the two. But it's stressful either way. Okay, but it's only when you take stress off that awareness starts to expand. Okay, if you're like this, observing a thought and not engaging with it is easy. When your awareness is like this, when it's limited, or let's say when it's, you know, in hiding, right, or very minimal, what happens? You start engaging with everything. Why? Because awareness is small at that point. Your awareness is probably the last thing you're thinking of. But when the stress goes, When you start becoming more relaxed, awareness expands. What happens when it expands? Now you become more aware of everything around you. So what happens with my profession, and sometimes now they get their degrees, they get multiple degrees, then they go straight into the workforce, they work their way up the ladder, they find out all of a sudden it doesn't mean so much anymore. This is where you get those ladies, right? They hit 40 years old, they're CEOs, they hit 40 and they just want to go home and bake cookies. So they resign. They give up the corporate world. They just want to go home and be women. They just want to go home and be mother. But I'm here to tell you that if you allow your awareness to expand, it will protect you from seeing everything as negative. It will protect you from seeing everything as, well, I don't have control over this. Because you will have control over it real time. Okay, it's 8 o'clock and I need to get going. I have clients this morning, but hey, thank you for being with us. Also, yesterday, dude, say your website. Answer your questions. Just send it to junior@hereforyoulifecoaching.com.